guys? Nick Lesagore here, Exit 12 Brewery in the house. Today is Saturday. Happy Saturday to everyone. I am brewing. Brandon couldn't be here today, so we have to get this beer done before Christmas because we're brewing a Belgian strong dark ale. It's going to be a holiday ale, and we are going to try to get the flavor of an anise cookie out of it. If you're not familiar with an anise cookie, it's kind of a vanilla flavored, kind of licorice flavored Italian cookie with like icing on top. It's delicious, it's amazing, and hopefully this beer is going to be amazing. We are going to be doing things a little bit differently. As you can see behind me, I have the Robobrew V3, but the grain bill is a little bit too much to handle that, so we're going to be mashing in a cooler system, which is kind of, we tend to get a little bit better efficiency in that so far, although we've only had the Robobrew for a couple of months. But the Belgian Dark Strong Ale is going to be base 10 pounds of Great Western 2-row. We're also going to be doing 2 pounds, 8 ounces of the Viking Pale Cookie Malt, which is something I'm really pumped to use. I took a little taste tester of it yesterday, and it tastes really bready. It feels like it's going to be a really good addition to the beer. We also have a pound of Aromatic Malt, a little bit on the high side, but we feel as though with the things that we're adding, we're going to hopefully be getting, more of those aroma smells of like fresh cookie and Christmas, which is what this beer is for. We're also going to be going with 14.9 ounces of Carafoam, which is all we had in stock, so we cleared that out. 8 ounces of Cara 8, 4.5 ounces of the Caramalt 50-60 L Caramalt, 3.2 ounces of the chocolate malt, and 3.2 ounces of the Viking Caramel 30, which is what we used in the dual grain triple play double IPA hop experiment. So we're pumped about that. We're cleaning that out of our inventory. We're also going to be using D45 Candi syrup. This is the first time that we're using this. Not completely familiar with it, just in terms of we know it's going to give it a sweeter body, it's going to a sweeter taste, it's going to enhance the mouthfeel, enhance the body hopefully, and it's going to add to that cookie aspect that we want to utilize so much. We're also going to be adding Star Anise, which is the anisette where the name comes from for the cookies. It's actually going to be adding 1 or 2, I'm still not sure yet. We're going to be adding these in the boil. We're also going to be utilizing an adjunct vanilla bean. We're going to be throwing that probably in secondary to kind of get more of that vanilla from the vanilla frosting of the anisette cookie. And the yeast we're using is the Gnome yeast. Yeah, it's from Imperial. It's the B45, the Gnome yeast, and that's supposed to enhance more of the bready flavors in the malt. So I did all the prep yesterday. I cleaned, I sanitized. We're pretty much ready to go here. We're up to temp. We're going to be heating the strike water in the Robobrew, and we're going to be, since that can control temperature a little bit better than the pot and the stove here, the gas stove. And then we're going to be mashing in for 90 minutes, and then we're going to be heating the sparge water to batch sparge in the cooler. So let's get started. Alright, so I got the grains milled. I got rice hulls all set to go. This bad boy is just about up to mash temp. Looking at about 165 or so. I got Action Bronson going on the speaker. Let's start this brew day. Let's get mashed. When the morning So this is a new system that we're trying out here at Mashing In, utilizing the Robobrew to heat the water. We just purchased a mash and boil over Cyber Monday. So we have another rig to kind of use as insurance in case this one dies, or if we want to do 2 brew days. So we're really pumped about that. Alright, we got about 5 minutes left in the mash. We were shooting for about 148 degrees. We got to 145, so I'll take that. We're heating up sparge water here in the Robobrew behind me. Got a little bit over, probably about 3.5 gallons. We're going to boil off a couple of times, and then we're going to put our first runnings here into a pot, and then we're going to transfer the sparge water here into the cooler, and we're going to sparge probably for about 30 minutes and see where we're at there. As you can see, got some grain floating in it. Generally the Robobrew, I think, does a good job. We have the false bottom, so I really probably shouldn't need to do this, but I'm going to do it just in case. We'll boil off a couple of times here. We'll boil off 5 times. This is the 5th here. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, the grain is fairly clear, or the first runnings are fairly clear. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with this and start the process of extracting the wort. Alright, we yielded about 3 gallons of first runnings. I got the Robobrew ready to go, 192 degree water or so. So let's start sparging. Alright, I'm going to take a pre-boil gravity. We're shooting for around 0.67, and we use a refractometer because it's just easier and it's quicker than a hydrometer. Alright, so we just took a gravity reading. We're at 0.61. Would have liked to see that higher. Like I said, we were shooting for 0.67, but the good news is that we ended up with, we nailed our volume. So we were going for a little bit over 6.5 gallons, and that's exactly what we have. But it wouldn't be an Exit 12 brewery brew day without something going wrong. So when I was transferring the first runnings from the kettle into the Robobrew, I forgot to close the ball valve on the Robobrew, and we lost probably about 8 ounces or so. So actually our volume would have been higher had that not happened. But we're about to get up to boil here. You know, it's still a great brew day overall so far, and we're going to get to boil and add some hops, some different adjuncts, some candy syrup. So let's get things going. I'm pretty sure it's written in the homebrewer's handbook somewhere. It's a rule. You have to enjoy a homebrew on a brew day. Cheers. Alright, we're 30 minutes in on the boil. The alarm just went off, so we're now adding 2 ounces of Saz hops just to give it a general spice and to add to the aroma. Alright, we got 20 minutes left until the end of the boil, so that means at this mark I'm adding in 2 ounces of Hallertau Middle Fruit hops. Another low alpha hop. The basic idea as it relates to alpha acids with a Belgian dark strong is that we want to get about 30 IBUs. That's probably the sweet spot. I'm finishing out at about 23 to 25. I'd have to double check to make sure, but that's good enough for me. Alright, so I switched it up a little bit. We got 10 minutes left till the end of the boil. Here goes the D45 candy syrup. I was supposed to add it at 15, but I forgot, so we'll just call it improvising. I just added in a teaspoon of Irish moss. Trying to get all of this candy out of here, this D45. I'm also going to be adding in 2 Star Anise to give you that, you know, black licorice, help aid to the bready flavor. And then lastly, a healthy teaspoon of Yeast Nutrient. That's a lot all at once, but when you mess up, you gotta improvise. Alright, we're at the end of the boil here. The Belgian Dark Strong. This has been quite a brew day. Alright, so the way we have the Robobrew chilling system set up is, this is the chiller that you can buy, optional. We bought it with the system and the tubing as well. Basically, utilizing the pump, we run the beer through this line here, like again, utilizing the pump. It goes into the chiller and it comes out, it goes through. Usually we have ice water. I couldn't find ice water at the grocery store this morning, so I didn't utilize it. But we have cold water and then the ice from my fridge. And it comes out this way, underneath the blanket, and the tubing comes up and back in. So it just recirculates the wort. In a way, it kind of aerates it, and it's a great way, when utilized correctly, when I don't dump even more beer onto the mats here. When utilized correctly, it is a phenomenal option for fast chilling your wort. Alright, it took a while. We're at 71 degrees. You can pitch that yeast. It's the Omega Gnome yeast. You can pitch that between 65 and 75 for the Belgian style. So we're going to transfer this into our SS BrewTech conical. Let it sit for a minute, and we're going to pitch the yeast, and we're going to come back with some efficiency numbers. All right, we finished at 5 1/4, a little bit more than that, 20 liters. We were shooting for 5 1/2. I mean, what are you gonna do? This wasn't the smoothest brew day, just in terms of I lost quite a bit of liquid, whether it was keeping the ball valve open when I was transferring the first runnings, or had a mishap while chilling, and there was some leaking there. So overall, 62% efficiency. Again, not great, but the good news is that my home got central air, so I'm able to set the temperature within reason, of course. I also have the wife telling me what to set it at, but we can set the temperature and kind of forget it in a way. We generally attenuate out pretty high. This yeast attenuates out right around 75% or so. So we usually attenuate out in the 80s. So we'll see how this finishes. I'm hoping to still get an 8% beer. We'll see. But I'm going to pitch the yeast here. Just some things I probably would have done differently is I would have sparged for 60 minutes. I know that with that cooler that we use, the 10-gallon Home Depot cooler, we generally will sparge for 60. And a lot of people say it's overkill, but that's how our system is. I think the pre-boil gravity would have been higher had we sparged for 60 minutes instead of 30. With that said, ultimately, it's going to turn into amazing beer, and that's all you can really hope for. So I'm going to pitch the yeast. With this yeast, it's interesting. The direction said to constantly keep it cold. Generally, with some of the yeast that we use, we like to let it sit out and acclimate to the temperature. But overall, it was a good brew day. It's just about 2:30 now. I have to go hang some Christmas lights. Brandon is coming over. We're going to try our basic bitch pumpkin stout. So that'll be fun. Got another buddy coming over as well. Maybe we'll do a beer review. Maybe not. We'll see. Overall, a good brew day. And we'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.